So it's been a little over a week since the Winds of Change update dropped, and I was originally going to post reviews on the new aircraft, but I want to hold off on those since the custom loadouts haven't been released and all of the new planes feel incomplete without them. Instead, I'll give a quick summary of my opinions on the update. I'll start by talking about the update to Dagor 6.5, as that is one of the big positives for this update. You can see a lot more detail in the ground now, and the wind, smoke, and shockwave effects all look really good. Though I have noticed some of the rocks on the Italy ground map have a weird shade to them. Hopefully that'll get fixed in the future updates. The new 4K texture pack is really good from what I've heard, but be ready for a hit to your FPS. I've yet to download them myself as I'm running at 1080, though I do plan on downloading it within the next day or two and trying it out. If my frames drop too much, I'll just go back to HD textures, which that is the nice thing about it, as if you don't have a beefy enough card, you don't have to run the high quality textures. By far my favorite graphical update this patch is the new modification icons and the announcement's text changes. The icons look so crisp and it really makes you realize how blurry the old images were. As for the text, they added a drop shadow which makes them pop out a lot more. Moving over to the new aircraft, I've already managed to grind out the J8 and the A10A late. Both have been fun in their own right, but without the custom loadouts, both of them, especially the J8, feel half-baked. Now, the other planes I've yet to get, but I'm really happy that they were added. The F-104 ASA and the MiG-23 MLA give some good top-tier planes to nations that were lacking competitive planes at that BR. The Mirage F-1C should fill this role as well, but from what I've heard, it isn't that great. Though I've yet to get the Mirage, so I'm gonna wait until I get it before I decide on whether it's good or not. Finally, we get to the A10A early, a premium with all aspects at 9.7. Even though there isn't much the A10A early can do against supersonic jets that it faces, a plane with all aspect missiles shouldn't be at the BR where it can face Korean-era subsonic jets. I'd like to see Gaijin give it 4 AIM-9Ls so they can justify moving it up in BR, or just go ahead and move it up in BR. The main reason is I don't want to see this in any 9.0 BR. While my content is mainly focused around jets, I do play tanks fairly often, and I've been hard at work grinding out the new Israeli tech tree with the Merkava Mark 2D. The tree definitely has some interesting vehicles I'm looking forward to unlocking, like the Machbet, the Gal Batash, and the two Merkava Mark IVs. However, the grind has definitely been a slog as I'm mainly facing German teams, and the German 8.0 to 9.0 lineup is very strong with the buff to the Bagel Panzer and the addition of the Puma. The Puma is definitely a strong vehicle that will most likely have its BR increased in the future. It's got good protection against heat, good maneuverability, and the autocannon can quickly render you combat ineffective if you don't kill it in the first shot. Though you can kill it with one shot if you're using APFSDS and you shoot it from the front or back. As for the other additions to ground, I'm happy to see the US finally get an IR SAM with the LAV-AD, and that just leaves the Russians, British, French, and Swedes without an IR SAM for their 9.0 lineups. The big mechanic addition for ground this update was the first active protection systems. I've yet to get any of the vehicles that have one, or face them really, so I don't have an opinion on this yet. However, I do have a strong opinion on the new Sun City map. That being that it is absolutely terrible. It's a small flat map with lots of twists and turns and wide open streets that offer no cover at all. I've already moved my band from Hurtgen Forest to this map since I disliked it so much, and thankfully I'll never have to see it again unless Gaijin adds an even worse map that I move my band to that new one. Moving back to something a little more positive, we finally got another test of the Heli PvE event. I played one game so far in a stock AH-1F and it went pretty well for me. In 40 minutes, I managed to get 55 ground kills and 7 assists and net myself first place on the team. For all that, I was rewarded with 73,000 SL and 4,000 RP. Those rewards are absolutely atrocious. Thankfully, Gaijin said they are willing to increase the economy gain, so we'll just have to wait and see what they do with that. As for the actual gameplay, I thought it was pretty fun. I got the city map, which is by far the best Heli EC map. All the buildings made it easy to sneak up close to a battle or convoy before popping up and killing the spa. I'd then proceed to work over the rest of the ground targets before moving on to another one. I didn't bother going for the bombing points as they had Rollins guarding them and they mostly spawned outside the city, so I had no good way to sneak up on them without getting killed. Those were basically reserved for helicopters like the K-52, AH-64, and the Eurotiger, basically anything with long-range ATGMs that could counter them. The spawn frequency of the objectives might need to be increased, as there were several times where I was sitting around waiting for another convoy or battle to spawn as we'd killed them all. While there are some things that need to be improved, I think this is a good step in the right direction for helicopters. There are definitely some imbalanced vehicles that have been added, but overall I think this is a really good update and probably one of the better ones we've had in a while. What are y'all's thoughts on the update? Also, do y'all want me to wait on reviews for the new aircraft until the custom loadouts are added, or do y'all want me to go ahead and make reviews on them? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day.